Merry Christmas. It will be Christmas when this...
This is Christmas Day.
It should be.
No, it is totally Christmas Day. Right now it's Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas. So, we are going to do an unprecedented thing on the Luxury Pickers channel. And we are filming this on Christmas Eve. That's how organised we are.
And you're looking at your phone when you're saying hello to people. Why?
Because I'm going to get my solds up from eBay. We're going to do a 3-part series of solds because people are hounding us for solds. So we're going to do eBay solds, which is mainly what I call bread and butter stuff. As everyone... It is probably true to everyone that eBay's the quick turnover, the mothership.
The majority, like the majority of sales will usually stem as a reseller from eBay.
Yes.
Even if you do other platforms, and it's true of us.
Yes.
For sure.
So we also do Vestiaire, Vinted, Depop, and eBay in the same quantity that we do eBay. Does that make sense? Because I know some people just put like things like sale items on Vinted and stuff.
Yeah.
But
or like only fancy things on Vestiaire.
So we're going to split it up so you have a better understanding of each platform and what sells best on each platform.
So
yes.
we're gonna say what we sold, we're gonna say how much we bought it for, and like I say, a few people asked in the comments. It's not something we cover, but it's not something we don't cover because we're trying to hide anything. But it's just more like I don't know. I don't know. You can see people's souls. You can, I don't know. But
I think the thing is, though, you can see people's souls on eBay, but you can't see people's souls on other platforms.
No, that's right. But we're going to start with eBay anyway, for those people who may be
more eBay focused, and then we'll do others throughout the month.
We've picked things that we like, things which...
Yes. This is just highlights.
Yeah, I was like, what are you saying now?
No, as in I'm not gonna, because some people do every sale.
Like, no, this is some of our highlights, some things we've enjoyed selling or picking up, or maybe the kind of their profit percentage was really good or whatever. Once again, I want to reiterate, as much as these are core sales as well, these aren't like they're not the last week's sales. They're sales we picked
over this month.
Yeah, over the last month.
Okay, so first up on my device, and it will pop up on the screen in the form of magic.
I'm going to stand by here, although it'll look quite weird.
It'll probably come up over our faces anyway, so it's fine. The first thing up, because I feel weird looking at it on my phone, but it's not in the air.
Fine. That's fine.
Right, the first thing up is a Loro Pinner dress. If anyone has followed us for a while, we picked up a few Loro Pinner. We know what they're talking about. It'll be here. Dress items of clothing, and for anyone who doesn't know, it is a high-end, very classic, very tailored, very equestrian. Think Hermes, but more fashion-based as opposed to leather-based.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So the first thing we up on this thing on our solds is a dress we bought in a picking video. It was a pink linen tailored dress. To most people it was very
straight up and down.
It was very normal.
Yeah,
it was very like,
it was more the fabric and the colour which would catch your eye, I guess, if you're looking.
And that one sold for £220 on offer. I had it out for 300, which was higher than all the comps on eBay. We paid under £10, more than £5. I believe it was £5.99.
I was gonna say £5.99, but like once again, go back and watch a video. It was in one of our videos and we picked it up, correct?
Yes, but regardless, let's say £5.99 for the sake of this video. The buyer paid $220. It went to United States of America. They also paid $3.99, which is my standard shipping rate. I offer 3 types of postage on all our eBays, and this applies obviously to all platforms that allow you to do your own postage. I do second 48-hour tracked for $3.99. I do 24-hour tracked for $4.99, and I do
regular second class.
No, I do next day delivery.
Next day delivery, okay.
Which will be based on.
That's all.
No, we do tracked. We used to do second class.
I was gonna say we did for a while.
Yeah, but when they introduced tracked at the same price as second class, it just made more sense to do it like that.
For a while when we first started, why I said that, and once again I am wrong, but when I said that, when we first started doing this, specifically with handbags and stuff, which we used to do a lot, we still do now, but we used a lot, like, I don't know, 5-6 a day.
Yeah.
I would say the shipping was costing us at that point like £20-30, including the insurance. It was and to get any kind of tracking, it was madness. So that's
that one. So 220 plus £4 postage. We paid £5.99. Next up is a Mulberry Heritage Anthony, which is a sort of classic side bag. You're probably familiar with it if you know the brand Mulberry. We picked this up from a consignment shop or dress agency. We paid £50, and it sold within half an hour for £250 plus postage. The difference with this bag is because where we are in the world, we're in Mulberry country, so there's 2 factories within 10 miles of us.
Each way.
And there's a lot of staff purchases popping around, and they'll be indicated inside. Staff purchases typically go for less than a full price item. There's just a little bit of stigma around it. We'll talk about it in another video. It's a bit weird. They're the same bags, they just have been,
you can't tell from looking at it
for the staff member.
Like you say, inside there's a mark, but
bizarre.
apart from that, you never know from the outside.
However, I priced according to the market for just a normal Anthony bag in oxblood. It's a burgundy colour. It's got the gunmetal hardware,
which is actually they don't sell anymore.
It's quite rare.
Yeah.
Fascinating thing about an Anthony and Mulberry handbags in general from this time era, if they have a women's name, they're for women. If they have a men's name, they were made for men. Obviously, that's completely subjective, and if you want to wear whatever, you wear whatever you want to wear.
Originally, that was the case.
But that was like the selling point, you know.
Cara, Lily, Alexa, Maisie, all those bags were for ladies.
Yes. However, the community completely took hold of the Anthony, and I've only ever seen women wear it apart from one man, and that was Mark Wright in like the late 2000s. Do you remember that at the airport?
You are full of like the current pop culture.
Yes, £250 plus £3.99. We pay £50. That's 5 times our money in half an hour. Correct? Right.
And I'll be honest, we paid up for that because it was a consignment store. I say paid up, it was a really reasonable price. In actual fact, if he's watching, we actually met a subscriber in the store when we actually bought the bag.
Oh yes, we did. So the next up is the Moncler vintage 1981 red and blue down quilted padded sleeveless jacket in a size large.
This was really cool, it being vintage more than anything else, because Moncler, you see a lot of Moncler, they do a lot of fakes, they do a lot of like, it's very current, it's very like, a lot of people have it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to find a vintage piece which isn't absolutely like annihilated, and there were some issues with it, don't get me wrong, but to get a price like this, I still think it just goes to say you really need to kind of push those comps.
Also, I'd like to say as well, we paid £3 at a car boot sale, but there were multiple issues with this. So there was marking, there was tears, there was missing the sleeves, so the sleeves were zip-on.
Yeah, it
so
was
they
zip-on.
didn't have sleeves.
So technically it was a gilet.
And the badge, the felt badge with the logo on it, which everyone knows, had come off.
So
it was just a white circle.
And the funny thing was about that actually, if I'm honest, I don't know if it would have otherwise. A couple of years ago, they did collaborate. There were loads of collaborations, but they did a collaboration and they did a style of badge, which basically was just the outer shape of the badge. So it kind of looked like that, but didn't. So I don't know if that like normally would have put people off, but because of that, maybe it still sold well. Or it was just a vintage piece. Nonetheless, £3, and how much we sell for?
We sold it for £165 plus shipping, $3.99, and it sold on the global shipping program to the USA.
Awesome, a good piece to kind of find.
Next up is a bag that we've had for a little bit, but we had it in storage. It's a Mulberry vintage 90s red waterproof large single strap duffel bag. Now this is from the 90s team collection, which was their collection of like sportswear, like technical
nylon,
gear.
Tech, yeah, exactly that.
This had issues with the waterproof like nylon coated fabric. It has begun to bubble because of age. When you take things out of hot cold conditions, different types of storage, etc.
Like you say, yeah.
The age process starts. We sold this for £199 plus $4.99 shipping, and that went to London. So we originally bought that as part of a really large bundle, and at the time of sale it cost us nothing in terms of that.
I was just going to say,
the cost.
When we've sold multiple bags from that bundle. One thing to take into account as well, like as Bethany's telling you exactly where we're getting these things from. Some are literally boot sale or charity shop pickups, some are consignment stores, and once again some are actually from a kind of buyouts, if we call them.
Buyouts
from customers and clients we've had throughout the years. Being a Mulberry country, as Bethany stated previously, we get a lot of this, so you'll hear more and more Mulberry, but across the board we have access to it probably easier than other people. So don't necessarily take it as read that everything we're talking about, if you just kind of listen in the background, it's not all from boot sales and charity shops. Sometimes we do have to pay a little bit more, and that's just I guess what you dealing with maybe higher end sometimes.
Next up is a Kate Spade coat, which we picked up in a video in Cheddar.
Yeah.
We paid £10 for this coat. It was a Kate Spade black wool coat, and it had a big old bow on the back of it, like a real statement, like Cindy Lou Who bow.
Very heavy kind of wool kind of vibes.
Yes, so that sold for 120 plus £3.99 shipping, but it went on the global shipping program to the USA. We do a lot of the USA, can you tell? £10 into 120 obviously is fabulous. I had it listed for 150, so that was a very reasonable offer.
Yep.
Okay. Next up is a pair of Gucci shorts. These were another pair we acquired through a private contact. These were from the 90s. They were around between 96 and 98. So they were designed by Tom Ford. We always put Tom Ford in the title if it is relevant. If he designed it, obviously, don't just put it in there. They were a pair of real hot shorts, what I would call booty shorts.
Hot pants.
Yeah, like, but it would like
Daisy Dukes.
But like shorter, like it wouldn't. They were basically underwear. They were so small.
Okay.
You'll see in the picture. Anyway, on the back of these shorts, the actual cotton itself was in really good condition. On the back of the shorts, they had like a vinyl leather patch, which had completely disintegrated in through storage.
You
and
could still see the
etc.
stamping, but it, once again, this is something which is over 20 years old.
And it wouldn't, I don't think you could restore it. Anyway, they sold, we paid in a huge, massive, giant buyout.
Clearance, yeah.
It worked out that we paid £3.75 for those shorts, and they sold for £129 plus £3.99 postage to the USA on global shipping program.
There's, if you're thinking like, oh god, there's a lot of GSP, do you ever sell anything to the UK? Obviously we do, but you know what, we do find, I've said this before, this is the reason we use Vestiaire for a lot of our higher end products, is as much as eBay, obviously UK eBay, there's lots of eyeballs on the product. With luxury specifically for us, I'm not saying for everything, but for us, over the years, just because we've sold even from our, like, when we were kind of dealing with our website directly, even sending it all over the world there, we just realized that not to have GSP will be madness, because so many of our high-end sales go across.
To be honest with you, I don't care where it goes. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if it's all GSP, well, fabulous, because well, you know, eBay have to do half the legwork. And secondly, I do find people, because GSP fees are so expensive, I find the if it's GSP, they're more serious buyers, because they're paying that.
Yeah, exactly that. But also, I'm willing to wait for it as well. Not like I just want that tomorrow. The other thing I think, as regards, I think a lot of people are put off sometimes, like losing parcels and this and that and the other. And what's amazing is, I don't know, maybe I'm just saying something which is obvious, but as long as you get it to eBay, as in Litchfield, I think it is. I think they've changed now, maybe again.
No, it's still Litchfield. But
yeah. The address has changed recently.
Yeah.
But if you can get it to Litchfield, and you can confirm they've got it, it doesn't matter what happens from then on. And to be honest with you, from our point of view, don't worry about it getting across to America or blah blah blah.
Just worry about getting it to Litchfield.
Yeah.
Next up is a more bread and butter item, is a Peruvian connection camel brown baby alpaca tailored double-breasted formal overcoat. This was a size small. It was very small, but it was alpaca.
Easy for you to say.
We paid £7 for this. I don't know how. It just came upon us in a charity shop in Wales for £7. I put it up for 120. I took a reasonable offer of 100. It went to a repeat buyer, so thank you to that repeat buyer. But it also went global shipping program. A repeat buyer to the global shipping program.
I knew some of the items we were talking about today. I didn't know this many were GSP.
I just picked.
I want to say GPS.
I just picked random ones. I tried to pick a mix of like bread and butter and
which
good
is mad
ones.
because it proves how many of our, like I say, what I just said.
So we paid £7, sold for 100. Add postage of £4.25 because it's sort of a bigger piece. But it's sold in the international shipping program anyway. It went to the USA, and they were a repeat buyer from the USA. So there you go. That's wonderful. Next up is a high-tech. These aren't the best pictures actually on this dress because it was very hard to photograph. With the lighting, it was a very dark navy blue and it had a floral pattern, but it was also a halter neck and it was covered in ruffles.
So when you'll see obviously this thing here, but when we say high tech, we don't mean like high tech as in like.
No, it's High Tech by Claire Campbell, which is a brand. She also does high use, just high. So there's loads of umbrella brands within high.
Yeah.
High.
It's hard because I can't see anything on the screen.
Funny,
It'll be obvious to people, but I didn't want them to think it was high tech.
So this actually sold. Obviously, this sold in the sort of more winter time, but this was. I just realised some of these are a bit later this month, and you're gonna have to deal with that. That's fine. I obviously got a bit. I got a bit
It's fine.
excited there.
It's a solds video. It's not necessarily.
No, it's a solds. It's highlighting
you said that
solds.
at the beginning, yeah.
So it's a high tech by Claire Campbell navy blue dress. It was a size small. It sold obviously going into the winter months, which I found amazing. We paid £8 in a charity shop in Bath. It sold for £115 plus £3.99 shipping, and that stayed in the UK.
Yeah.
So £8 into £115. Another global shipping sale. I sold 2 Gudrun. I'm not even say it. I can't say it. Slogan.
Let's go with that. It'll all be up here if you
We'll just say
read it,
Gudrun.
and you know the logo by now. If you watch any of our other videos, we put in multiple videos. They sell constantly. The more kind of, I know we say this all the time, the more largany look.
The boho. I find boho sounds a bit better. Maxi dresses. Yeah.
And that's not largan look?
Well, it is largan look, but I mean
so
like...
don't take the wind out of my sails, lady.
I mean like
just
sort
saying.
of like has like block print or like
I get
patterned or like a fluted sleeve.
There's more of a kind of a pattern, a floral vibe
like,
to
yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
Anyway, so we sold 2 maxi dresses, both size large. One, what we paid £5 for, the top one. The second one we paid £10 for. It did have a condition issue. It was pulling at the armpit. It wasn't hold or anything, but you know when the stitches start to pull.
I'm with you.
I did say that in the listing, obviously. They sold to the US.
So this is the same person, just to clarify.
Same person. So we paid £15 for the both. We sold...
Bethany's doing maths now, so just watch the kind of...
£15 for the both. They sold for £110 for the 2, plus postage. Obviously, it was GSP, so the buyer paid. And they went to the USA. So 15 into 110.
I think at this point, we're moving to the USA, I'll be honest.
I know. I feel like that's what we're meant to be.
Yeah.
The next one is a bit of a random one. So I saw this. I'm going to tell the story. I saw this in a charity shop in Wales at the end of Austin's Mum's Road.
I hope she sees this.
There's like a charity shop on the corner, and it's Salvation Army, and I can never get in there because it has the weirdest opening times.
We mentioned this in another video. It opens from like 11 till 2.
It doesn't open on Saturday.
It
doesn't open on Saturday.
And we don't live there. My mum lives there, so it's just we very rarely get in there. But they always have great stuff when we go in.
So I saw a cardigan in the window. It was a waterfall. I didn't know what material it was at the time, but it was a white waterfall cardigan from Eileen Fisher. I said, could you please go in and check the price, and if it's cheap, get it. So she bought it for £5. It turned out, she sent it to us in the post, but it turned out to be 100% linen waterfall cardigan. It sold within 1 day for £100 plus shipping, and it stayed in this country.
Well done, Mum.
Yeah, so £5 into 100 plus postage. Next up is
always a way.
I know. Next up is a item we bought very recently, last week in fact. It was a pair of, this is why, look, they're all shuffled up. I'm telling you, I didn't do it on purpose. So these are a pair of Nike Riffs, 2012 in the navy blue colourway. Nike Riffs are the trainers that look like sandals that have 2 toes like Margiela tabbies.
Correct.
Yes, like this?
Yep. They originally released mid-2000s, I want to say. And actually maybe slightly earlier than that. Either way, these were like a redo, like a retro already, I guess, 2012, 2013-ish. And they sold for £90 plus £4.99 shipping, next day shipping. And that's cheap.
They went to the authentication centre at eBay, which is just hilarious. And
what happened there? How'd that work out for them?
Oh, they were authentic. Anyway, so we paid £9. So we paid a little bit more, but as you understand, trainers are always a little bit more, especially if they've got a Nike swoosh in a charity shop. We paid £9 in a charity shop. They sold in under a week for 90. I had them up from 110. Beggars can't be choosers, and trainers isn't our main.
No, I love trainers, but for regards to eBay, no. I would say as well, just quickly on these, we had so many offers from like 50 to like, I don't know, 75.
Yeah.
And because we put them up high, and we didn't put them high, we put them at like market value, to be honest. But they weren't like the most craziest colorway. They weren't like the most the most kind of wanted, I guess.
If you get the earlier ones, I've seen the earlier ones on there with boxes for like 300 quid.
Like, there's a big difference between the retros and the originals. But even that, like for £9 you said,
yeah,
to 90. 10x.
Next up is an All Saints City Monument cream oversized draped wraparound coat. Now, to point this out explicitly, I don't traditionally pick up All Saints unless it's leather goods. However, this was part of a ginormous bundle which had a lot of high-end designer stuff in it, so we took it as well. It was a UK size 4, but it was ginormous. Like, I would say up to a size 14. It was just massive draped.
Considering it was accurate, because it was that size.
It sold, so it worked out that we paid £3.75 for it. We sold for £85 plus £3.99 postage, and that stayed in the UK. So that was a very good return for All Saints. Agreed. Next up is a bread and butter one, and I was dipping my toe into the lake of Joe Brown's. I know a lot of people pick up Joe Brown's. I don't actually like it as a brand, but I need to get that out of my head because it's not about my personal taste, it's about the customer.
That's something I gotta say we've learned like drastically over the years, and I still hear people. I'm saying this like we've never done, and we totally have. I'm saying that now, but I hear so many people saying, "Oh God, look at that! I'm not into that." Like honestly, I would buy a Barney the dinosaur costume if it sells for good money. Like I just think it's not about what you like, it's not about what you enjoy.
I mean, I wouldn't pick up a Barney costume, but
I know good money. Just saying.
But like,
you know what I mean, though?
But I mean, style wise. So like, if it's like, I don't know. Sometimes we pick up like a mint velvet top that is just like I wouldn't wear in a million years. But it's not about what I wear. It's about what
I would say if you're kind of not picking up stuff because you don't like it, I would say how many things have you sold already that you don't like and wouldn't wear? In that case, they've sold. So like.
However, I won't pick up Radley because I just really, really don't like it.
There's no real value there though. To be honest, there's not.
The picture bags do quite well, just so everyone knows.
Like also, like we're talking about a whole section of bags. On the whole brand. Yeah, there you go.
Next up is a Joe Brown's jacket. I only picked it up because it was very cheap. It was £2.50 to £2.80. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And it was wild.
It was in a sale. It had all this embroidery on. I think it was so cheap in the charity shop because they thought someone had embroidered it.
Yeah, it was very like, if you know the Signal, like something like that. It was that kind of vibe, just madness.
Anyway, I sold it. It was a size 12, embroidered, like draped coat. I sold it for £55 plus £3.99 shipping. Stayed within the country. I hear that was a very good price. I had messages after I put it on Instagram, and apparently that was a very good price for Joe Brown's. So push those comps, guys.
Push them up.
Push them up. Sky high. Next up is a pair of Dr. Martens that we picked up in the summer. The difference with these is they weren't technically Dr. Martens. They were a brand called Paradise Garage, which was a punk shop in Bristol in the 80s. But they were licensed to make shoes with Dr. Martens soles. Dr. Martens for a period of time were made by Clark's.
The soles
the factory in the Clark's factories, not by Clark's. There was no association.
It wasn't like a knockoff.
So they obviously managed to do a licensed product, and they got the soles. So basically the inner shoe was all this company called Paradise Garage.
They were like creepers, weren't they?
Yeah, like creepers, like punk, proper
Blue
punk
suede.
shoes. But the actual sole itself was Dr. Martens. We paid £2 on the floor at Boot Sale in Bristol, which is pretty cool because they probably like stayed within the place. They sold for £75 plus postage.
I think what's cool about that as well is that I think we showed them in Instagram Live once. I don't think we did on YouTube, but it was not definitely go back and watch it. But what's really interesting was, like you just said, I always think it's cool. I know some people get bored of us, but I think it's cool when something stays like local. Like I don't know.
I like history. I like the history of things.
Yeah, like the American pickers do. Like they just kind of they go to certain states for certain kind of. I think that's cool. Anyway, moving on.
Next up is a Hampstead Bazaar dress. Once again, something I wouldn't traditionally pick up, just because I don't personally have a lot of luck. I always say like, even adding on to like you should pick up things and styles just. Even if you don't like them, but I just don't have any luck with this brand. It's very much like Sahara to me. It's hit and miss.
I think we bought a few bits and pieces before, and it just hasn't gone quick.
So I picked this basically on style. So you'll see the picture up here. I actually thought it was 100% a perfect Hocus Pocus dress.
That's why you bought it. I remember you saying, like, because this was like Halloween.
I thought someone would dress up as Hocus Pocus. So I put, it's a Hampstead Bazaar burnt orange asymmetrical lager look because it was all drapey and oversized maxi dress. It was a size medium. I accepted an offer on this to a repeat buyer because that's the kind of girl I am. it was up for 80. It went for 70 plus $4.99 next day, 24-hour track delivery. And I would not have paid over £5. I might pay £6, but that's tops.
I know just how you felt about that brand previously. It just wouldn't have been over a tenner, no way.
No. And the last one on our beautiful list of soles for all the sole tailors out there is a pair of Ariat brown leather croc printed classic pointed cowboy style boots in a size 4. So they're a small size. Austin did a boot sale, and he raided the lady next door to him
illegally. It was before the boot sale started.
He paid £4 for these boots. They were dirty. They did look like they had been horse riding themselves.
Did I do a refurb thing on those? Or not?
You did a little side by side little jobs.
Okay.
So £4 into £70, and that was $3.99 shipping.
They sold quite quick too.
It took about a couple of weeks, but I think it was size. And I had a lot of offers on Vinted for these, a lot of offers, but no one paid. Anyway, they sold for 70 on eBay.
Cool.
So that's our last sold. I just picked some highlights, obviously, I picked highlights from the last month and a half, it seems. Yes. However, that will do. And we'll do a Depop, because we had some big old sales on Depop this month, sorry.
I would actually say stay tuned. I know this sounds really like salesy, but stay tuned for the Depop and the Vestiaires, because that's actually where we usually sell our highest end, believe it or not. As much as a lot of those, obviously, we just said are kind of higher end, some more bread and butter. But for us, to be honest with you, even when we pick up bread and butter, we don't just buy, like, if for example, bread and butter toast, we won't just buy the plain t-shirt for like £25. There are items we do that with on Vinted, but I'm saying usually if we go for a brand or pay for a brand, it's because it's like the upper echelon of that brand. Like I say, there are anomalies to that slightly, but across the board, we just picked a bit of a cross section of stuff we enjoy, stuff we liked, and it's our video. So,
and if you want to see more sort of like soul sort of things like that, then do let us know. But I find our hauls, when we value items, we're pretty much spot on, bar maybe like £10 for the shouting. We take offers, but like you say, just prove then maybe 10-20 quid on max. Sometimes I'll be really I'll be super generous if you catch me in the right mood, as in offers. And also based on price you paid. Whether it's been covered off or cause, some of our stock is what I would. It's not free, but it's technically it's been accounted for in terms of my accountant, or bundles, or whatever else. So I can us, we can be a little bit more lenient. However, we price high, so it's a very interesting thing. That's a good point too. I always say push the comps and stuff. We push the comps so high, there is that room for negotiation and compromise and etc. And obviously then if it sells for that money, that sells for that money. For example, I think I didn't have any the Hampstead Bazaar dress, that's top of the comps at the moment for Hampstead Bazaar dresses. So it just depends on the item, etc. Yeah, I think a lot of the time, like you said as well, if you're like we always, I know people hear us say, push the comps, but the reason we also say that is I don't know, you go to fill your car up with fuel, it costs, I don't know, £100 or something at the moment, and someone every time you go to £100 or you see £100 everywhere, you go to someone and they say, do you know what, I'm actually going to give you a discount today, you can have for £75. You think you've had the best deal ever, but by the same token, it's just because they've seen it elsewhere at the same price. So based on the fact of what you've paid and what you can still make, it just makes sense to make sure it's the top of the comps. So perfect. Welcome to our first sold video. We did it. Mad. High fives. Anyway, guys, Merry Christmas. This is obviously Christmas Day. Look, I've got facial adornments on. Isn't it strange? Yeah, it looks lovely. You look lovely. I know. I sometimes do it just to creep Austin out. So he's like, oh my goodness, I'm actually engaged to a woman. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.